Good evening, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Extraordinary Man Podcast. You guys know your host. I am Phil Jones, and you know who this handsome devil is on the other side. State your name.
What's going on? It is Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
All right, so let's have this conversation. So here's something
Mhm.
that has been. It came across my desk in the newsroom. I just wanted to say that I don't have a newsroom, but it came across my timeline, and I thought it was a really interesting concept to talk about. It's basically about the adverse effect of high value men. And what that adverse effect of high value men was being slated as is there's a role reversal, so to speak, to where a man will build himself up to create himself into a version of self that is valuable to society, that's valuable to women, that's valuable to other businesses, whatever have you. And in creating that value for himself, he is constantly reminded about who he used to be and how people used to treat him prior to him attaining that status. So now what he does is he redistributes that to where he's sleeping with as many women as he wants. He's exercising his options in as many categories as he wants. And the question is, what value does he really serve? Or is he really serving any value? On one end of the spectrum, when I saw that, I saw it's like, okay, well, it sounds like a bitter woman's perspective because, oh, now that he's worth something, he should be just giving it up. Now that he's worth something, he should just be handing it over. He shouldn't be able to go around and sleep with whoever he wants, exercising that option primarily because of the fact that he's somebody that's desired now. On the adverse of that, it's like, okay, well, what was your motivation to put yourself in a high value situation? If it was predicated off of being desirable by women, when does the carousel end? So I want to get your take on that concept.
So I don't think the carousel ever does end simply because a man that definitely decides to, work on himself, build himself, chisel himself out of the stone, build up his net worth or become successful in a career. It's never going to be a ending story. He's always going to be that guy that turns into the sought after gentleman that's going to exercise his options regardless of what anybody says or feels. That's just what it is.
And you saying that is like I didn't have mixed feelings about it. I just sat there and I thought about it from a perspective of, from a man's point of view, in my quest to creating value for myself. I noticed that as I got older and as things started to transition, that just because, like, just getting older, for some reason, made me more attractive to women.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the physical attributes, the pseudo dad bod or whatever. I don't necessarily know what it is that triggered the initial change in the way that I was being received by women. But of course, at that time, I was out of the pool then. And I don't know if it was just the way I dressed, the married man swag, whatever the situation was. I don't know what the transition point was exactly. But I do know that over a period of time, I started to dress different. I started to carry myself different. My talk became different because my priorities became different. So when I start having conversations about investments and putting money away and starting to make sound decisions with money and just making sound decisions with, like, when I sat back and I could just say things that were rooted in some level of realism, the way that women would receive me would be much different.
Absolutely, because you definitely became, one being, a man of your stature, highly educated, uh, fantastic career, of course, what I'm saying. And I think the biggest thing or major thing that what draws women to older men, especially married men, is the fact that they see stability. Okay. They see the wife, they see the car, they see the clothes, they see the kids, you know what I'm saying? They see they not on the inside, so on the outside they see happiness. You know, they see all these different aspects that's built around you that they see coming off of you, and they want that. And that's just what it is, because to them, they see stability. They see stability, they see coverage, they see being able to be taken care of. They see all of these things about you, protection. That's what they see when they look at a married man.
You know, it's funny is that you say that because it's like I was having a conversation just yesterday before I went to work. And part of that conversation was the fact that when you look in the Bible, love has a definition. Therefore, the definite because love has an actual definition, it's not rooted off of a feeling, it's rooted off of a series of tasks.
Mm-hmm.
You mind if I pull up the definition real quick?
Yeah, please. You know, that way the audience will know and understand as well.